You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 16th meeting for the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission, our regular meeting, Thursday, October 16th of 2025 at 5 p.m. Central Time here in the Common Council chambers. At this time, I'd like to call our meeting to order, and I will also do our roll call at the same time. Clarence Halsey.
Clarence, are you online? Attendees?
It says attendees too. Okay. I'll come back to him, okay? Phil Latchford.
Here.
Sheila Brilson is out of town. Tracy Tillman.
Present.
Cherie Wilson here. Tom Dombrowski. I'm sorry, Domkowski. I keep on saying someone else's name. And Clarence. Can you hear us?
Present.
Okay, present. Cool. Okay, Clarence son. Okay, thank you. Our third item on our agenda tonight is the approval of our minutes from our executive session on 9/8 of 2025 and our regular hybrid meeting from September 8th of 2025.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the executive session from September 8th, 2025, the regular hybrid meeting from September 8th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes have been passed. Okay, our next item gets things organized here. Sorry. Okay, our next items is our claims. Would you like to present on that, Skylar?
This is our claims docket for October 16th, 2025. In September 2025, payroll, we had staff and commissioners. From our operating account, we had corporate payment systems, airline fees for me, it's actually for a conference I'm attending in a couple weeks. Great American Financial, copier fees, September 2025. Great American Financial copier fees for October 2025. Saranac Law Offices for legal retainer for September 2025. In the North TIF, from the North TIF, we had August MAC 2025 environmental activities, 6/23/25 through 8/3/25. Barnes and Thornburg legal services for Bloxham arbitration ending 7/31/2025. Barnes and Thornburg for legal services Bloxham arbitration ending 8/31/2025. Barnes and Thornburg for legal services SOLA ending 8/31/2025. Development Economic Finance for project consulting. That was 5/1/2025 through 8/31/2025. And we have Global Engineering for General Engineering SOLA site 9/1/2025 through 9/28/2025. Hitchcock Design Group for engineering for Fetters Alley Playground, request number 25. Michael Baker International for consulting MC Tech support ending 8/31/2025. Michael Baker International for consulting MC Tech support ending 9/28/2025. NIPSCO Electric Service EV Stations 8th Street as of 10/1/2025. Schneider Geometrics for engineering services for Westcott Park 7/1/2025 through 7/31/2025. Schneider Geometrics for engineering services for Highway 12 and Lake Ave Relief Sewer 8/1/2025 through 8/31/2025. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the North TIF September 2025. Smith Group for engineering for the move of You Are Beautiful sign 6/28/2025 through 7/25/25. State Board of Accounts for our audit fees for our annual 2024. Valuation services for appraisal report parcels on 8th Street. Valuation services for appraisal report on parcels on Michigan Boulevard. Valuation services for appraisal report for 1016 East Michigan Boulevard. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for legal services for Pine Street Memorial Site, 8/1/2025 through 8/28/2025. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for legal services for our Transit Center Station Block, 8/19/2025 through 8/28/2025. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for our legal services for You Are Beautiful Site, 8/1/2025 through 8/22/25. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for legal services for Pine Street Memorial Site, 9/8/25 through 9/25/25. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for legal services Singing Sands, 9/17/2025 through 9/21/2025. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for legal services for our Transit Center block, station block, 9/5/25 through 10/20/25. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for legal services for You Are Beautiful Site, 9/5/25 through 9/8/25. On our South TIF, we had Cynical Offices for legal services from the South TIF 2025. Zimmerman Voc analysis of residential market potential. East TIF, we had Global Engineering, General Engineering, Minky Road, 6/13/2025 through 9/28/2025. Harris Law Firm for legal services, Project Maze. And we have RIF Loan, Indiana Finance Authority, disbursement request number 4, H&G Underground. So that's the RIF fund. We had to put that on there because we've been starting to pay that. And you may recall we got a loan through the IFA to do that. So that's something new that you'll be seeing probably for the next few months on there.
Before you do a roll call, or before you do a take a vote on this, one of the things that I like about Debbie Wilson is in many ways, she's like my wife. Anytime I screw something up, she's always the first to let me know. So I was negligent on the roll call as it related to approval of the minutes because Clarence is remote. We need to do a roll call of each individual person.
Got it.
We'll need to do that for the approval of claims. So I would suggest go back and we make the motion again to approve the minutes, do the roll call, approve that, and then make a motion to approve the
claims.
the claims.
Okay.
And thank you, wife number 2.
Oh, I got it right here too.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes for our executive session from September 8th of 2025, as well as our regular hybrid meeting from September 8th of 2025? And do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, second. Okay. I feel like we're in, now we're actually doing the play instead of the dress rehearsal. Clarence, do you approve?
Aye.
Phil, do you approve?
Aye.
Sheila Wilson is not here today. Tracy, you approve?
Aye.
And Sheree Wilson, I approve. Okay, so that has passed. Do I have a motion to accept our claims as presented for October 16th? This year.
If I may, Madam Chair, I'm just curious. Just looking at our claims, this is just ironic for the state boards of account that did our audit. That gets paid and they're salaried, but we also have to pay a fee for them to do our audit.
Yes.
Make that make sense.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes.
Other than that, I'll make a motion to accept the claims for October 16, 2025 as presented.
So yeah, it's a little weird, I know.
You're gonna second it, Phil? Okay, I'll do a roll call. Clarence,
Aye.
Phil,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and Sheree, aye. Okay, so that's been accepted. Okay. Our next item up is the financial report. We'll go ahead and we'll brief you on it, but we'll have to present the actual documents later, as there was a system disruption and it's been publicly acknowledged. So I'll turn it over to Skylar and he'll explain.
Yeah, so our city controller usually produces that document for us, and since we had a little bit of a network malfunction or disruption, we're going to have to come back and approve it at our next. We'll have to approve this month and next month at the same time because we weren't able to produce that document. Like I said, typically that comes from the controller. She'll do a rundown on what's in those funds and provide that to us, but we couldn't do that this time. So I assume at the next meeting, we'll present both of them and approve them.
Okay, so we're gonna, as he just said, we're gonna defer that till November. So you'll end up seeing 2 of those on our agenda for next month, okay? And now I would like to open up the floor for public comments. As you come up to speak, please state your name and your address before you go into dialogue. Thank you.
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. Looking at this agenda here, the next item, number 7, I'd like to have an explanation. Why are they called riverfront liquor licenses when 701 Washington Street right there across from the Barker Mansion, it's nowhere near Trail Creek. The other thing I'd like to mention is a request coming up to buy out the Dodge Durangos. I know Chief Forger has confirmed these are the Durangos that had the V6 engines, not the V8 Hemis that have been blowing engines at 15,000 miles. They had to replace the entire fleet for the town of Maryville Police Department as well as the Indiana State Police. They had all kinds of problems. So these Durangos are good. You got something else to complain about. Not that I'm complaining. I just want to make the Redevelopment Commission and the city the best it could possibly be. I know I see on Beacon that you're the owners of the parking garage on 11th Street that's owned by the Redevelopment Commission. There was a young woman on social media. She's confined to a wheelchair. She talked about how the handicap spaces in the parking garage are not ADA compliant. I think you need to go back there and I said, well, you gotta have to complain to the Redevelopment Commission. They own the parking garage. There's an elevator when you get to Chicago at Millennium Station. This thing's been out of service for like 3 years. I complained about that to Mike Nolan from NICT. He said, well, that's not a NICT elevator. That's a Metro elevator. If you've got an issue with that, you got to take up with the Metro. So I think you need to go back and redo those handicap spaces in that parking garage. Talk to that woman. She'll explain why they're not ADA compliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Board. Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. I'm not sure how public comment will work for the items on the agenda, so I'm going to hit a couple notes quickly. I would suggest that you move the agenda item for the Michigan City Police to be next so that Captain Shaparsky can get back to work instead of sit here for an hour while we're making it the last thing. It's just a suggestion.
I agree with that.
For the riverfront liquor license for Hokkaido Sushi, I think we should say yes to them. They're successful restaurateurs here in Michigan City. We want to support them. Same thing for the Brew Box. I think we support the facade grant for them. We love seeing that building being reused. I think it's going to be a great location for them. Concerning item 11, approval of the Fifth and Pine Economic Development Agreement, I'm wondering what obligations we've placed on those people, like dates due, deliverables, I think might be the right term. Do they have deliverables that they have to receive by certain dates to show that that is moving forward? Great news on the settlement agreement and release for 742 East 8th Street. I think that's going to be a fantastic thing. Maybe you could explain what workforce housing or what the term is we're using for the affordability level of that development so people understand that a little bit. And then same thing on 17 and probably 18. There's been some concern about how those transfers are being done in the name of the Redevelopment Commission or the EDCMC. I understand a little bit why we've done it, but people seem to feel there's some concern that there's something funny going there with the title transfer of those properties. We know it's to protect the city's interests, but it seems funny to outsiders who don't understand the purpose. So I think it would be beneficial if you could explain that to the people. And again, I think I would recommend, again, you move Captain Shaparsky up to the next thing so he can get back to the important city business of protecting the people. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Do we have anyone else that would like to come up for public comment? Okay, at this time, we'll close public comment. Give me a moment just to reorganize myself here. What number is?
He's actually on an addendum, so if you'd
Oh,
like
there
to
he
make
is.
I kind of think we should move him because he's got much
We
more
will.
important things to do.
Yes, we'll definitely move him. Okay,
Thank
so oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion to move our addendum number 1 to sit behind public comment number 6?
So move.
Second.
Support.
Call for the roll.
Yep. Clarence,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and I for Sheree. Okay. Okay, our next item up is the Michigan City Police Department request lease buyout for 11 2022 Dodge Durangos. Please address us.
Hello, again, Assistant Chief Kyle Persky, Michigan City Police Department. Thank you to the public comment and for you guys for considering my time this evening. As you guys have the paperwork there, we're looking to complete the buyout of the remaining lease vehicles that Michigan City entered an agreement with. Obviously, the pricing supports, I believe, this buyout as well as this pushes us forward as we continue through our fleet management here in the next year.
Okay.
If approved tonight, we would provide a proof of our approval to the controller's office, and then they would provide proof of financing, the financial availability to the Board of Works. We would move this through the Board of Works as a special purchase because we're not going to find a better deal than this, and they are in really good shape.
Yes, correct.
Do we have any more comments from the board?
I would like to also add, this is part of our spending plan. It was included in our spending plan, which you'll hear more about from Mr. Mauser later. This is pretty much kind of finalizing that spending plan and what we intended to spend for public safety.
Anyone else? Okay.
And the amount that is being asked is the 220,000,
200.
165.
Yes.
You said 165.
It's $220,000. I'm sorry, 220,165 cents.
165.
65 cents.
Do I have a motion for us to grant the permission for the Michigan City Police Department for lease buyout of the 11 cars, they're Dodge Durangos 2022, in the amount of $220,100.65.
So move.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Clarence,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and Sheree, aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, next on our agenda is the Riverfront liquor license for what we all commonly know as High Coyote Sushi on 701 Washington Street. And they are actually here to the old boathouse.
Yeah, this is Hokkaido Sushi. I'd just like to say that this is not a new restaurant. This is a restaurant that has existed in Michigan City for how long?
10 years.
And they have now purchased a permanent building. And with that, please tell us.
625,000. Yes, I know. And we already invested about like 200,000 to renovation already.
We did meet with them. The committee, the liquor license committee met with them. I'm going to hand it off to, I think, Sheree and Clarence to speak to that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the project? I mean, it's going to stay the same. We're not going to.
Yeah, like the same menu, same like items, like same employees. Like we just like move from 725 to 701 Washington. I just like finally have our own building and, instead of leasing.
Perfect.
So we just want an investment, still like stay in Michigan City, and want to grow with like a Michigan City together.
Perfect.
Lena, can you go ahead and introduce yourselves as well?
Tell us who you are.
Yeah.
Oh, my name is Lena Zhang. I'm the owner of a Hokkaido sushi restaurant here.
I'm Jeremy. Yes, I'm the chef.
Okay. Clarence, do you have any comments at this time?
Well, I guess the liquor license committee met, reviewed the application. This was easier than most because this is an existing restaurant that's moving to a new location. As you all are aware, we try and one of the things we look for is a full service restaurant with serving food, not serving alcohol, having hours at least 220 days a year. We're trying to offer diverse food offerings in downtown. And so based on who they are and what they're doing, this met all the requirements. And so we offered to move forward this to the full commission.
Yeah, and I'd also like to point out I was part of the same meeting. Since I've been on the board to date, they have the largest investment so far in an existing building that has been brought before us as a restaurant business. Also, I'd like to point out that they took an existing space that was available and they're doing a total renovation on it. So that's, showing pride in our local community. And just really looking forward to them, getting back open so we can go there to eat.
Thank you. Every day we have customer ask when you're gonna open. I say, "Oh, okay, give me a second. We're gonna open soon."
Yeah, it's quite the undertaking, I know. Do I have a motion to accept and approve the municipal riverfront permit for United Ocean LLC, otherwise known as High Coyote Sushi Restaurant at 701 Washington Street, Michigan City, Indiana?
I'd like to make a motion to support.
I will second. Oh, I can't? Okay,
Second.
okay. I just learned something I can't second. I can't,
You typed.
okay. Oh, I'm breaking Robert's Rules of Orders. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take and do a roll call on our vote. Clarence,
Aye.
Phil,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and myself, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying in Michigan City. We really appreciate you reinvesting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your new.
And for what it's
location.
worth, I love your food also. So please open up soon.
Man,
Okay, next on our agenda tonight is were you gonna say something?
man, you
Well-
want me to introduce them?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead and tell us what we got.
Okay, next is facade grant request, the Brew Box at 920 Franklin, and
Tonight we have, I do believe Mr. McKinley Wells will be presenting, and I do know that Miss Michelle Dickman is here as well. So would you both come up here? Come. I'm going to get you up here, Michelle. It'll be painless, I promise. Mr. Wells helped was I think properly the GC on this, and also he's familiar with the facade grant process, so he helped Michelle put this together. And I wanted him to come here to kind of talk about this building. Just some background on this building. I'm surprised it hasn't been demoed yet. I think it's been on the list for many years, probably at least 15 of those years, if not longer. Tommy might know the answer to that. But I'm really glad to see it did not get demoed and that it is going to have a new life. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you kind of give us the scoop.
Sure. Thank you. So Mick Wells, my company is McKinley Design, general contractors in Michigan City. We were very fortunate to be asked to participate in this project. There was another contractor who started it. We kind of took it over from there. You're right that the building was about this close to being ready to be demoed. I mean, beautiful structure. It had been there since the 50s. And an old diner. We did quite a bit of research on the thing, and we're able to bring it back to, we're bringing it back to its former glory. Same structure. We, in essence, just rebuilt the entire structure from the inside out, including every trade you can name. So we had to reinforce structurally the entire structure. It was an old steel structure. So we did that. And every time we peeled back a layer, we found more things to do. Right. Mm-hmm. So, but it's been a great project. It's coming along very nicely. Michelle and her partners have invested quite heavily in this. and we feel like we're getting very close. So, it's something that I think brings a lot back to Michigan City during the time that we've been working on the project. So many people have asked about it and have interest in it, have told the history of it. So it's been a great process.
This just some additional information. This did have to go through Historic Review Board. It's an old Valentine diner. Michelle did contact the people who originally designed the Valentine diner. I believe they were in Kansas City, but they couldn't get the panels. So McKinley is a very talented craftsman with respect to metal, and he recreated the metal to make it match, and really did work some magic on it, I think. So it's just a really cool building to see it come back to life. But it was, since it was in the historic district, it did require review, certain type of treatments of the exterior, etc. So with that comes that additional cost. And you did see I had McKinley put together kind of the exterior renovation costs and things of that nature. This doesn't include mechanicals and things like that.
No,
It actually,
only the exterior.
and actually you don't see the mechanicals because they're actually underneath the floor of this building. So it's a little bit, it's a pretty interesting building. Yeah, so they did turn in everything that they needed to for me. What you're seeing here is an abbreviated packet, but I did want to include the pictures for you. I know that they're required. You can see the checklist in here. All those things were submitted to me, but I didn't want to, it would have been like 40 pages of things to put in here, and the packet was already thick. The estimated, well, not the estimated, the actual prices, you can see here, it was about almost 100, it was 147,000 to renovate. We do up to $30,000 in renovation or in facade grants. I do realize that this one in our packet, we do say, please don't start until you get all of the proper approvals and things of that nature. But this one was very complicated. It took historic preservation quite a while. It took drawings to get it put back together. This one was a lot more complicated, and also it was on the verge of being demolished or falling down. So they needed to get it shored up and get kind of started on the interior remodel. So I authorized them to kind of go ahead and start putting the pieces back together in anticipation of bringing you this facade grant. So I'll take the blame for that one. But I would like to make a recommendation that that they, if you would hear them out, I know that we've looked at like with the cellar door and others, we did provide 30,000, but I would like to ask if you would provide them a little bit more, because they actually did have to reconnect the sewer system to this thing. They did have to get water service to it. They did have to do these things that were on-site. That's really what held up a lot of this. If you would entertain providing something more to them, that would probably help Miss Dickman out a whole lot, because I think there was a lot of unforeseen for this. But worst case scenario, they do qualify for the full $30,000.
Would it be appropriate to match what we did for cellar door, considering they had similar plumbing issues?
Absolutely. I don't think that that's out of the ordinary. What did we provide to them? 38? What did we
I think it was 9.
We get to 40.
40?
I think it was about 40.
Yeah. So maybe not. Could we ask for not to exceed 40 or a 40? It's up to you guys. So you guys make it's your program.
That would seem fair. I mean, I know they had sewer issues too, like Salvador had. So yeah, that's, I mean, when you start opening underground and walls, things start happening. So
Anyone like to make a motion?
But that's not, that's not included in what was presented though.
I'm asking for a little bit more, if you would consider more, because of the major investment they had to make. And how big is the building?
And
520 square feet.
Yes.
And I just have one other question.
Absolutely.
Is based off of the rates and the amounts that has been stated in our packets, but you all have the actual
Documents.
Documentation.
Absolutely. I have all their title work, their insurance. I have all that stuff, that the checklist. Yes, I have all that. I just didn't put it in the package. It was a lot.
Okay, then based on that, then for the facade grant request for the brew box of 920 Franklin Street, I would like to make a motion to for RDC to pay up to $40,000 and not to exceed.
Second.
Okay. Go ahead and do roll call.
Yep. Roll call.
We've organized here. Clarence,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Okay, just want to show everyone out here, though. It's probably gonna be hard for you guys to see. I wish we had this for visual, but look at the amazing work that they did,
Yeah.
saving a historic mid-century. Most people don't value mid-century right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is amazing. And, the Lustrian homes, we have a half a dozen of them here in town too. So this is proof that it can be done.
Michelle, can I ask one more question of you? What was the total cost for renovation? This was exterior. If you don't want to share it, you don't have to, but I want to make sure the public understands that this is 500 square feet. It's not a 3,000 square foot shotgun brick building. It's literally 500 square feet.
Yeah, I'd say probably double that amount on our cost right now.
So this is exterior. There's still mechanicals. There's still the interior build out, and then
Furnishing, there's
Yeah.
still supplies to start up. I mean, it's a lot.
yeah, we appreciate you investing. And I remember the first time you told me you were going to invest in this, I was like, really? Okay. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I have one other question.
Sure.
So with it being the brew box, what type of coffee or authentic coffees will you be
We'll
serving?
have, we have a menu of like specialty drinks, then, your normal drinks, teas, and then pastries, some breakfast sandwiches, paninis.
Fresh juices,
Yes, yeah.
juices, smoothies, this type of thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, our roaster is actually based out of Munster, Indiana. So he's the one that will roast our beans. He will come train us. He'll maintenance our machines. So,
Who's your roaster?
Just Be Coffee.
I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
check them out.
Yeah.
I'm almost over there daily.
Oh, are you? Yeah.
Um,
He's got like a warehouse and then like a little small coffee station up front. So, yeah.
Michelle, tomorrow we will get a hold of you and get some information from you so that we can see what you would like to do with the payment. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, McKinley. Thank you so much for taking on the project.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you for
the support.
investing in our downtown too.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. It's exciting. Our next is the TIF annual presentation by Baker and Tilly Municipal Advisors.
Tonight we have Mr. Andrew Mauser with us, and I'm sure you're familiar with him. So Andrew, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Skylar, and good evening, Commission members. Again, Andy Mauser with Baker Tilly. We serve as financial advisor to the Redevelopment Commission. I did want to know, I did leave some copies of the presentation up here in case any members of the audience or public would like to grab one. I'll try to be efficient with this TIF presentation. This evening, at the same time, your TIF areas in recent years have grown both in number and complexity. So I want to kind of make sure we have time to go through everything you've got going on and especially the changes here in the coming years. This presentation is an annual requirement that all redevelopment commissions have to go through. But at the same time, I hope this is a good planning document as you start to consider projects and other commitments going forward. And really, there are a lot of changes for the Redevelopment Commission on the horizon. Many of you are familiar with Senate Bill 1. That's a pretty drastic change to the property tax system over the next 5 to 6 years. You've got some coming expirations for some of your TIF areas. But at the same time, you've got new TIF areas coming online, your transportation development district starting to produce, and large projects in the pipeline as well. So I did just want to go through, again, kind of a snapshot of where your TIF areas are currently. You should have both a copy of a presentation and then also a bound TIF report. I'm just going to go through the presentation here this evening and certainly feel free to stop me with any questions. So first couple slides of that presentation just have contact information. And then we do provide a overview of all your TIF areas. what was previously your north side and your south side TIF areas several years ago were pulled together into one large consolidated economic development area. So on the fifth slide, I will go through just a quick history of your north side portion of the consolidated TIF. It actually has three components. So you've got areas that date back all the way to 1986, and then expansions that were done in 97 and 2018. Because of that, you have different lifespans associated with different portions of the north side TIF. So actually that second piece of your north side TIF area will expire first in 2027, and then you've got pieces that will expire in 2040 and 2043. This is a very healthy TIF area. In 2019, it first surpassed $4 million per year. In 2024, you brought in just over 4.3 million. In 2025, you're expected to bring in almost 4.5 million. And for the half year, with your June distribution, you were right around $2.3 million in collections. And we do anticipate just a slight drop off in 2026. You'll see about 4.3 million again in 2026. And I think that's really due to a couple different things. One, your transportation development district does overlap this TIF area. So as you're starting to collect from that, taxpayers, there's no double dipping of taxes for taxpayers that are in the TDD and the TIF area. So I think as we start to see the TDD collect, we may see a little bit of stagnation in the north side TIF. And then the north side TIF does have a pretty diverse mix of property types. So as some of those Senate Bill 1 changes start to flow in, especially for rental properties, apartments, things like that, we may start to see that create a little bit of drag on your assessed values within that TIF area, but still very healthy. Again, close to $4.5 million in the north side. You do have 3 bond obligations outstanding. I won't go through these in a lot of detail. I would just note that all your bond obligations here for the north side and south side TIF areas are backed by property taxes, but you've never had to use property taxes, and we don't anticipate that you ever will. Your TIF revenues have always been sufficient to make payments. And we really saw a dip in interest rates that started in 2019, kind of carried throughout the COVID pandemic, and then started to recover in 2022 or so. You'll note that a lot of your bond obligations were issued or refunded kind of in that 2019 to 2022 window. So you do have very competitive interest rates. Your taxable Wabash Street bonds that were refunded in 2021 at the bottom of page 6, those go through 2040, so 15 years remaining on that financing, and those interest rates are at a 1.25 to 2.85% rate. Taxable rates currently would be probably somewhere in the 5 to 6% range. So again, great rate on those existing bonds. The next area on page 8 is your south side TIF area. Much like the north side, it has quite a bit of history and multiple components to the area. Pieces that were set up in 97, 2012, 2015, and 2023. So you've got expirations throughout the late 2020s into the 2030s, and the last component of that area will expire in 2048. But much like the north side, the south side TIF is very healthy as well. In 2020, first surpassed $3 million. In 2024, you collected about 3.2 million. For 2025, we expect it to remain around 3.2 million as well. And at the half year, you're right around 1.7. And then for 2026, we do expect a fair amount of growth in the TIF area, and you should be close to $3.5 million in 2026. Again, 3 debt obligations there. You've got 2015, 2018, and 2019 bonds. Those are all outstanding through 2028 or 2039. And then several years ago, when your consolidated TIF area was pulled together into a single area, at that same time, there was also the creation of the station block project, which is known as the mixed use transit allocation area. So we've got a bit of history of that allocation area on slide 11. Was set up in 2023, and it will carry a 25-year life. So it will expire in 2048. And while there have not been any collections in this TIF area to date, the developer, Flaherty and Collins, did agree to make payments of $814,000 beginning in 2027. And then those payments will increase at 2% per year. So across the life of that project, we do anticipate that $800,000 will grow to about 1.2 million in the later years. You do have a debt obligation outstanding payable from the mixed-use transit TIF area. We show that on page 12. Those are the station block bonds that were issued in 2023 to fund various portions of the project. Much like the TIF area, those bonds extend through 2048, and they are payable from a mix of the TIF generated from the project, and then you also have the ability to make payments from your north side and south side TIF as well. At that same time, on slide 13, when your TIF area was pulled together, there were two additional expansions. One was the connector piece that brought the north side and south side TIF areas together. And then there was also an expansion to the east along East Michigan Boulevard. So you've got that additional component of the TIF area. It will also have a 25-year life that will expire in 2048. And we do expect some collections will begin actually in 2026. You should bring in about $23,000 starting next year. Also payable from your consolidated TIF, you do have one obligation, which we show on page 14. This was the 2024 obligation for the sewer infrastructure improvements just to the north of 12, just on the northeast side of downtown. That was done through the IFA, the Indiana Finance Authority's residential infrastructure program. So it also has a very competitive interest rate, and those bonds will be repaid through 2040. And then page 15 is probably the most important slide in this presentation. This shows you a snapshot of not only where your TIF areas are currently, but where they're headed in the future. On the left side of this page, you will see your annual collections. So about 4.4 million from your north side TIF, 3.2 million from your south side. Across your entire consolidated TIF, you bring in about $7.7 million. But you'll see as the areas go forward and those components start to expire, we do anticipate some increase in your TIF over the next 3 to 4 years to about 8.6 million in 2028. And then starting in 2029, you will start to see some expiration. So the TIF drops down to about 3.5 million for about a 10 to 11 year period, and then drops off again in the 2030s as additional components expire. Well, that will be a large reduction in your TIF. We've always planned for that. So your debt obligations also start to cascade down at that same time. So you'll notice your debt obligations on the right side of the page. While you do pay about 4.9 million currently in annual payments, as your areas expire, that drops pretty substantially to about 2.5 million. And then in later years, only the station block bonds will remain outstanding. So the very right part of that page gives you an idea of revenues you have available beyond debt service for other projects. For 2025, that should be about $2.7 million. In 2026, we're estimating about 2.9 million. And then you'll notice very healthy revenues here over the next couple of years, again, before your areas start to expire in 2029. Also have some information on your other smaller TIF areas. We do include your the SOLA project allocation area. So that was a TIF area that was created this past summer, July of 2025. It will have a 25-year life from the date of any debt issuance from the SOLA area. That area obviously not generating anything yet, but that is a new TIF area that has been created going forward. And then on page 17 lists a number of projects that you can continue to pay from your existing balances and revenues as they come in. Next couple slides look at your remaining standalone TIF areas. So your northeast TIF area on slide 19 was created way back in 1999, has a 30-year life. So you will continue to collect on the northeast TIF through 2029, currently bringing in about $350,000 per year. And the debt obligations for that area were paid off several years ago. So that's really free, unobstructed TIF for other purposes at this point. We also list a number of projects that have been considered for the northeast TIF. And then on slide 22, talk through your east side TIF area. It does have two separate components, an area that was set up in 2015, an expansion that was done in 2022. Both of those components have respective 25-year lifespans. And we've really seen pretty substantial growth in the east side TIF over the last several years. For 2026, it should jump to close to $500,000 per year. So that's strong revenues to continue to invest in infrastructure in the east side TIF. And then the very last one I will go through is the Tryon Meadow Economic Development Area, much like the SOLA project that was created here in 2025, back in April. That area actually has three components, which are outlined on slides 26, 27, and 28. While it is a single project and a single economic development area, it does have three separate allocation areas that align with the various components of that project. It's a mix of a traditional TIF area that'll have a 25-year lifespan, and then residential TIF allocation area that'll have a 20-year lifespan as well. So three components there. But again, that's a new TIF area, not generating anything yet, but will in the future as the area does develop. And then the very last part of the presentation is part of your annual requirement. We do have to discuss the impact of your TIF areas on the overlapping taxing units. On slide 29, we do show a graph of kind of the lifespan that any TIF allocation area goes through. Again, when a TIF area is established, a base assessed value is created. And really what you as a redevelopment commission capture is any growth, any incremental assessed value, which is represented by the green box there. The goal of your TIF areas is to create that growth, continue to reinvest in property, and then by the end of the lifespan, all that assessed value when the area ends is returned to the tax base, which is represented by the orange box. As I mentioned, your north side TIF, your south side TIF both have expirations. You'll last collect on those in 2028, and then that assessed value will be returned to the tax base in 2029. Between those two areas, the north side about $85 million of assessed value, the south side TIF about $91 million of assessed value. So that's about $177 million of assessed value that will be returned to your tax base starting in 2029. And just for reference, total tax base of the city is about 1.7 billion. So we're talking about a 10% infusion in tax base in a single year period. So that will have positive impacts on the city, the schools, the library, all the other overlapping taxing units. And then very last slide, much like we've done in previous years, we do show kind of a hypothetical situation between your TIF areas. You currently bring in $293 million of assessed value, which generates $8.4 million of TIF. If you were to take all $293 million of assessed value and put it back in the tax base, it would bring your total tax rates down by about 40 cents. If you were then to turn around and try to raise that same $8.4 million through a general property tax levy on the city, to raise that same 8.4 million, you would have to raise a tax rate of about 62 cents. So for redevelopment commission perspective, for the city's perspective, TIF is really your best tool to capture the development that you're helping to create and then continue to reinvest in infrastructure, incentives, all those things that are bringing growth to Michigan City. So I know that's a lot of information, but I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Did mention that these projections. Sorry, you did mention, I believe, that your projections take into account the effect of SB1.
They do for 2026. So the question was, do these projections take into account Senate Bill 1? They do for 2026. We know the impact of deductions, but I think that's something that we are starting to create additional models on, and something I think we will continue to update for the Redevelopment Commission going forward. Senate Bill 1 really touches every aspect of the property tax system, and as assessed values go down, tax rates are going to go up. And because of that, it really creates a pretty complex impact model. So again, for 26, it does represent deductions that are in place for Senate Bill 1. Those deductions may increase in future years, but we will continue to monitor that and model that out for you.
Thank you.
Andrew, thank you for that presentation. Just more of a comment than a question, but I mean, this is how TIF's supposed to work, right? It's supposed to trail off in 20 years or 25 years, and then it's really a long game for the tax base to be returned, right? I mean, it's really interesting to see. I've never worked in a city where we've had such a significant amount of TIF allocation area kind of leave or sunset, if you will, as you would say, sunset, and to see that large base now returned back into the overlapping taxing entities, and but also the effect it can have on those entities, schools, the city general fund, things of that nature. It's just really interesting to see these numbers and things of that nature.
Correct. No, I think it's a great representation. And like I said, that growth that's been created is going to have, significant positive impacts on the rest of the taxing units and even taxpayers within Michigan City as that assessed value is returned to the tax rolls.
Sure.
At that same time, while assessed value and TIF is going away, you've also got new growth that you've created here in the last few years that should start to come on. And our report does include known growth, the station block project, things like that, but we don't really make any assumptions for additional growth or increase in values. So certainly as, you start to see additional development and growth within the city, it should only increase these numbers.
It's excellent. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Move on to the next agenda item.
Unless you have any questions of Mr. Mauser, he knows our financials pretty well. So if you have any questions about the presentation, he does an excellent job. Andy, could you talk a little bit? Well, I guess that's next on there. We're talking about the spending plan, so we'll go into that if you want to talk a little bit. I mean, Shreya, I don't want you to the chair.
Next on our agenda, if you guys have your agenda in front of you, is the adoption of our 2026 TIF spending plan. Andy, I'll hand it over to you to present on that.
Sure. Thank you again. So this is a new requirement that was actually put into place last year. So the Redevelopment Commission for the first time in 2024 adopted the spending plan for expenditures you're making in 2025. This is something that has to be adopted by December 1st, and it really is in effect for all spending in calendar year 2026. It is similar to a budget. It is much less formal than the budget process the city has to go through, but I think the attempt by the state was to create kind of a similar process for redevelopment commissions. And so the spending plan, much like what was created last year, this outlines really maximum amounts, and it outlines them by uses that are allowed by state statute for TIF. So it includes debt obligations, it includes the spending of bond proceeds, it includes contributions to your school corporation, it includes other capital uses, capital projects you may pay directly from your incoming revenues and your existing balances. It includes professional services, police and fire contributions as well. So the spending plan does outline a little bit north of $12 million in total expenditure. I would note that a lot of that is your existing debt payments that we just went through in the presentation. And then also some remaining spend down. You've got a fair amount of your proceeds remaining from the residential infrastructure fund. So again, that's not coming out of your existing TIF allocation funds, that's coming out of your bond funds. So that the majority, again, of that $12 million, about 4.9 million is debt payments. And then again, about I believe it was 3.6 million would be the residential infrastructure fund. So glad to answer questions on that. Again, this is something that would have to be adopted just ahead of December 1st and then uploaded into Gateway.
Andy, do you have extra copies of that by any chance?
I unfortunately do not. I just have the single one. I'm glad to give you this one.
Sure, that would be great. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to hand it to you guys because I know what it says, but I'm going to let you guys look at it. Do you want to, Mayor, would you like to make some copies of that? Thank you very much. We can wait to adopt that, or we can not adopt it right now. It just needs to be adopted we could adopt it at our next November meeting if you would like to. And as long as we get it uploaded by December 1st, I do believe.
Correct.
Yeah, in the Gateway. And our city controllers, and with the help of Mr. Mauser, help us do that.
I do think one of the things we should do though, and I thought about this before, we never have, but now that starting last year when they started requiring us a spending plan as well or a budget, and given the fact that the TIF report is required by statute, we probably ought to take a formal vote to accept the report on the current funding situation as prepared by Baker Tilly.
So we'd be
Doing this one is just approving that report, just so there's a record established for that. So then we come back and accept the the budget and approve that, there's a foundation that goes with that as well. It's more of just a perfunctory thing, I think, more than anything else, but better be safe than sorry.
Do I have a motion to accept our TIF annual? Oh, whoops, sorry. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept our TIF annual presentation report as presented by Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors?
So move.
Support.
Okay, I'll go for roll call now. Clarence,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and I for Cherie. Okay, so the report has been approved. And then for the spending plan, we will defer that to either the end or maybe,
Yeah, let's see. Once Mayor comes back with a copy, and it's not Andy's fault. It's actually my fault. I'll take the blame for that. I forgot to put it in our pack. No. I forgot to put it in a packet. So Mr. Mauser did his job. I did not do mine. So
Okay.
I apologize.
so for the public.
Can we bring it back next meeting? I mean, that'd be
It can. I would like to admit, Madam Mayor has already went to make copies. I would like for you guys to have a copy of it and at least consider it, even if we don't adopt it today. Yeah, it's about 2 weeks for our next meeting.
Okay, so item number 10 will be deferred, giving us a chance to take a review. Okay. Oops, let me put deferred. We need a motion to defer.
I would say probably should. Yeah.
Do I have a motion to defer the acceptance of our 2026 TIF spending plan?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to defer the adoption of the 2026 TIF spending plan at this time. Till our next to our next board meeting.
Second.
And Phil seconds that. Okay, roll call, please. Clarence,
aye.
Phil,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and Sheree's and I.
Thank you, Andy, for putting all this and working with me and everyone else to do this. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Next on our agenda is the approval of Fifth and Pine Economic Development Agreement. And we do have representation here today from DAC. Please.
Yes, we have, you may recall, we put out an RFP I think at the end of last year, over the break. Well, I won't call it a break. Most people didn't get a break. Over the holidays and everything like that, we worked with selecting some, we had 7 submittals. We whittled those down to, I believe, 3. And honestly, the group you're going to see today, DAC, was really the cream of the crop. So we really appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, good evening, Commission. Thank you. I'm Tim Brangle with Chicago Consultant Studio, actually operating on your behalf. We helped run that process and continue to run that process. As Skylar alluded to, this went through a pretty rigorous process and got great response. We narrowed it down to DAC. Since that approval to proceed with them, we advanced a term sheet, which then became the basis for the EDA, the Economic Development Agreement that's before you tonight. It is in there. It's probably a little bit different than perhaps you've seen in the past in terms of agreements, but the next step really is to go through a due diligence process with the development team, DAC, with me here tonight as well. And a 90-day due diligence period to get to sort of a final site plan configuration, final program and the like. So what's been submitted to date is a basic framework for a plan. And that's part of their task over the next 90 days is to help solidify that, come back also with a basic waiving of some of the contingencies, do the proper due diligence on the site. From that is what's called a phase 1 project plan that will really articulate everything about that first phase. Within the EDA, we have basic guidelines and requirements that tie it to what they submitted in terms of the RFP proposal. So that'll be the basis and the baseline from which we sort of review that project plan coming back after due diligence. And then we go into a phase 1 project agreement. There will be 2 phases. I won't steal their thunder. I'm going to hand it off, but I'll let Antoine Rezko talk a little bit about their proposal.
Yep. Hello, everyone. My name is Antoine Resco. I'm here with DAC Developments. I'll let our CFO introduce himself as well.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chowdhury Muzaffar. I'm CFO of DAC Developments.
Thank you. Would you mind going down 2 slides? Yep. So I have 2 slides and I'm gonna breeze through very quickly. One is a brief refresher on us as a development team and our development history. And the other slide is a quick refresher on our project proposal for the Fifth and Pine site. So a refresher on us, we are DAC Developments. We are a Chicago-based firm. We specialize in ground-up Class A mixed-use developments. We've done multiple deals through public-private partnerships that aim to revitalize downtown areas, just like we are planning to do here in Michigan City. Our existing portfolio consists of 3 fully stabilized, highly amenitized Class A projects. That 4th one listed down there at the bottom is under construction and expected to lease up in April of 2026. Now, I don't need to go through all the numbers on the slide. The key point here is that everything we have built to date is very similar in scale and scope to what we are proposing for the Fifth and Pine site. Please go down to the next slide, please. Yep. So this is also just a quick refresher on what our project proposal is for the Fifth and Pine site. If you recall, this is a 2-phase project. So phase 1 is building A on the left there, and phase 2 is building B and building C on the right. Phase 1, building A, is a 4-story wood frame wrap around a concrete parking structure with 11,000 square feet of retail at the ground level. When complete, it will deliver 239 residential units and 312 parking spots. Building B in phase 2 is a 9-story light gauge steel frame building above a 2-floor concrete podium and a grocery anchor on the grade level as well. When complete, that will deliver 288 residential units and 440 parking spots. And then building C is just 12 3-story townhomes that we have in the program. But the key here is that all of these buildings will be fully amenitized for both tenants and the public. So we're going to do rooftop decks, courtyards, pools, gyms, outdoor spaces and walkways for things like farmer markets, live music, etc. We want this project to be livable, breathable, and walkable. And we can't tell you how excited we are to get started on this. And signing the EDA is the first step in that direction, and we're very pumped about that. I do have a couple of renderings. Yeah, I mentioned the grocery. Grocery is phase 2 anchor in building B. Yeah. I do have renderings after the slide. I don't know if it's relevant to go through them, but this is what the project looks like on the corner of Fifth and Pine. Up front, we see building A in phase 1, and then phase 2 is off to the left there. Would you mind scrolling down, please? Thank you. This is an aerial view from the southeast. You could see phase 2, building B. And then building A in phase 1 is off to the left with the lake just beyond that. And then the last slide is just a close-up of the corner of Fifth and Pine so you get a feel for the activation there. Yeah, and we're happy to take any questions as well. Thank you all for your time.
I just have one. If you could tell us, what does DAC stand for again?
DAC stands for the founder's name and his siblings' name. So Danny, Adam, and Chanel Resco.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other?
Should we address the question that was asked by the public earlier
Which question would that be?
about milestones and timelines?
We can if you'd like to. If you would like to, yes, absolutely. We do have some in there.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to let them know that the EDA actually outlined some key milestones. So once the EDA is executed, we have 90 days to perform due diligence. After that, we have 90 days to complete our final project proposal. And after that, we have 60 days to sign the project agreement for phase one.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I think you were going to ask.
You answered my question. Thank you.
Quick question. Is there a reason as to why you chose to make like one part be phase one versus the other part be phase two? Was there a driving factor?
So I think this was, by the way, this was all discussed between ourselves and the city during the RFP process. And I think we had just determined at the time that maybe the market, is not ready for 500 units today. But
Yeah.
if we deliver, 230 in phase one, start designing phase two, and then, after that, deliver that, the market will be caught up for that.
Mhm. It's very exciting.
I think so too. The idea of the grocer in phase two was basically while we want it there, it really is a chicken or egg type situation where we really need more density downtown, and we have other projects coming on board along with this one, and we thought that okay. There may be less risk to that grocer or less incentive to that grocer if we waited a little bit longer.
Yep.
To kind of put some density down there, get the market going,
Yep.
and then do that.
And I appreciate that, looking out for the others. Yeah.
Trying to
Yep.
be thoughtful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for these guys? We have worked, Tim, will you tell us how long we've been working on this? Please give us a rundown. This has been a long time in the making. I'm very excited.
A little while, yeah, but, all good. I think we also tried to expedite this, believe it or not, but by going from term sheet right into EDA. I know your typical process is MOU, but we're trying to get this. Some of that is, I will say, DEC has been very proactive in pursuing financing already before EDA, which is a great sign. You also have an LOI for a grocer. So they're doing things now, I think, that are trying to ensure that the project is viable going forward. All this still has to be tested. Part of getting the EDA going is allows them also to go file for additional tax credits and other programs that are out there. It gives them sort of portfolio and authority to take it to market. So that's, and again, we have been working a long time, but know that they have been also working, I think, ahead of schedule a little bit to really prove this up. Financing will drive every deal as it will, right? And I think, but yeah, so we're excited, we're pleased thus far, and I think this is a good step to give them the next authority, if you will, to move into some of that. So it's taken a while, but
I would also just like to say that one of the reasons we liked really DAC, their approach to really being open to other financing mechanisms, to really think out of the box and not just come like, hey, give us a bond and we'll do this. It's really, that really was impressive. And every time we had something, you turn things around so quickly. It was just really impressive. And honestly, that's one of the things we really appreciate about you. And I think the public will appreciate that too, that we're looking out for our bottom line as well. So, yeah.
I also appreciate your selection of, yes, so, and also appreciate your selection of the architect who was originally from our hometown.
Yeah. Correct. I mentioned that in our March 10th final presentation. I didn't mention that today, but yes, he's a Michigan City native.
Are we allowed to take public comment right now?
That's your decision.
Okay, we will.
yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I'm a little bit puzzled by looking at some of those renderings. Where are we supposed to park when we go to the grocery store? What's going to happen in the instance the grocery store fails to profit and thrive and goes out of business? And is there anybody which kind of grocery store is going to be? What chain is going to be running the grocery store? Well, we really want a grocery store in that section of the city. Thank you.
Yes, we're going to go ahead and comment.
Yeah, I think the question was about parking and the grocery store. So both phases are going to deliver 300 and 400 parking spots respectively. The first one is going to be a concrete structure in phase one, and the second one is going to be a 2-floor concrete podium. So in all, there's going to be ample parking spaces. In terms of the actual grocery store, we do have an LOI with a chain called Tony's Fresh Market. They're a Chicago-based firm as well, and they're looking to expand beyond Chicago. And we think they would be perfect for Michigan City, and they're excited about the opportunity as well.
There's also, so in the plan, there's a small amount of surface right there south of, right now in the plan, the grocery store. So that's for convenience parking, but also, then you have the garage, particularly probably the first floor to handle a lot of the demand for the grocery.
And we will make sure all parking spots are ADA compliant for sure.
Jeez.
Okay.
Any other questions that the board might have from these guys? I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Really, that
Yeah.
is that's also impressive. We really appreciate that.
Pleasure. Thank you all.
Okay. Yep. What's we're going to do next? Do I have a motion for approval of the Fifth and Pine Economic Development Agreement with DAC?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the Fifth and Pine Economic Development Agreement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll go to roll call at this moment. Clarence,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and Shree is an aye as well. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda.
Just real quickly, Tim.
Oh, go ahead.
Does Terry still work with you?
Yes.
Please remind her that Missouri kicked Kansas's butt this year.
Will do. I will tell her.
Okay, our next agenda item is development agreement with Tailwinds Business Park.
Yes. So I'm going to jump in on this one. I may be a little bit premature on this one. We have had our attorneys look this over. I was hoping to get this on the agenda tonight, but I would like to hold off on that. I do know that we would like to get this approved before the end of the month, but our attorneys are in review of this, and their attorneys are in review of what we provided back, our red line document. So I would like to ask the commission to table this, and I would also ask the commission to at some point in time before the end of the month, if we could set up a special meeting, and I will have Debbie Pohl for that, to deal with this item at that time. It is a exciting project, and I'm excited to show it to you. It is a commercial development project. It is not a residential or mixed use. It is a straight commercial project. And it's probably the first one of its kind that we have had the opportunity to look at and deal with. I don't want to steal the thunder from the developers. I'd rather them show you what they're proposing, but it will be in the south end of town, and it will result in about 13 new buildings, and they will be commercial buildings rather than mixed use and or residential. And they're addressing a need and a demand right now. I know that Mr. Hulse and the EDC, Caroline, get asked about commercial opportunities and commercial buildings. And I would say that this is a direct result from what we've did with Cleveland Ave. We built Cleveland Ave years ago, but then we actually rebuilt it a few years ago. And I would say that now that you're seeing, it's a direct result of that investment. It's also, I think, a direct result of some actions we've taken down there of getting roads back properly into the city's name. And honestly, the South TIF, the plan that we've been working on to build new roads down there, actually, these guys will be implementing a portion of that we kind of already designed. So we're going to get something done. So it's exciting.
Partnership too.
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a motion for us to defer to our next meeting, the development agreement with Tailwinds Business Park?
So move.
Support.
Okay, roll call, please. Clarence,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and I for Shree as well. Okay, next on our agenda is a contract for legal services for annexation growth strategy.
I'm I can explain a little bit about this. We are going to hire Mr. Trammell. I'd like to make a proposal to hire Mr. Trammell Rags Law PC. Trammell is a great asset when it comes to growth and annexation and laws and things of that nature. He doesn't have to research them. He knows them because he's worked with them before in previous administrations and previous jobs. He also brings a lot of knowledge because he actually comes from the corporate world rather than he wasn't just always a lawyer. He was in a corporate world before that. So he has a great knowledge about land use and things of that nature. What this is we're looking at the future growth of Michigan City, implementing our comprehensive plan, also updating our comprehensive plan. And also right now we have interesting amounts of land where people want to annex into the city, and we want to put we want to be able to bring them into the city and explain how annexation works in a very logical manner. And it's some of these are they've been approaching Clarence, they've been approaching me, and they're large swaths of land, and they just want to be in Michigan City, and they want to have the same opportunities that everyone else has that you have with when you're a part of Michigan City. So that's what we would like to work on with Mr. Rags, as well as Mr. Dan Bodish would be doing our fiscal analysis with that. That is required by law.
I'm just gonna put it out there and ask this question because I know it's gonna surface. Will this be, he's a great individual, so lucky and
Ask it.
we welcome. But will this be any type of conflict? Because he also
He
a part of our city council attorney.
I do not believe so because he is not with Mr. Harris Law Firm anymore. I'll make that very clear. His new Law PC. He has ventured out on his own, and honestly, he's such an asset. He was very instrumental when we did an annexation a few years ago. As I said, his knowledge is very deep when it comes to these things. He just knows the law and can just tell you what it is. He doesn't have to go research it. I would really hate to not work with him because he knows Michigan City. He knows what we are attempting to do. And like I said, I've worked with him before. Many people have worked with him before. I just think it's a good fit. And he's worked with Mr. Dan Bodish before as well.
Just to answer your question, though, even more from a legal viewpoint, the standard you're always looking at is his view or is his representation of the commission going to be adverse to the city? And secondly, is he going to be working on things that he's also worked on with the city, the same kind of project? So given that the answer to those two things are no, I believe, then there would be no conflict of interest.
Thank you.
Any other comments before we ask for a motion?
I would just say that, when we lead this plan or this program, it will be something that I think will be formally brought. I assume will be formally brought at some point in time for adoption. I do believe Ms. Vacher will help lead that charge, but it will have all the departments involved, sanitation. We'll be looking at water, sanitation, all the infrastructure, fire, police. It'll affect all those things as we grow as a community. So we'll have to take all that in consideration as well.
Okay.
The only thing else I would add is to make sure that if you're going to approve this contract, this agreement, is that it's noted at the rate of $250 an hour.
Okay.
So that should be included in the motion.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna announce it here in a minute. Just making a note. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the contract for legal services for annexation growth strategy with the new law firm Rags Law PC?
I'll make a motion to approve, that we should approve the contract for legal services for annexation and growth strategy with Rags Law PC at the rate of $250 an hour.
Thank you, Phil. Do I
Second.
have a second? We have a second as Clarence. Okay, we're gonna go for a roll. Clarence,
Aye.
Phil,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and Shree's and I. Okay. Give me a second to get organized. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the trail extension at Westcott Park.
Yeah, Mr. Warner couldn't be here tonight. He intended to be here to speak about this. This is something we've been working on for a little bit. It's kind of I call this a side project for me and him. When he first came on to be our city engineer, he asked the question of why we didn't push the trail underneath 12 and connect it to Westcott Park like it was going to be done. So he asked me that question, and I kind of explained that it was kind of difficult. It would cost us some more money. We didn't know where our boundaries were, et cetera, all these things. Anyways, he basically took it upon himself to do some research in speaking with John Kremke from Schneider Geometrics, which previously was State GLE. He found that there was plenty of space to poke a connector underneath to connect to Taylor Street and connect Westcott Park directly to Taylor Street. He went and met with actually some of the business owners on Taylor Street, and they were all for it because at this time it's become kind of a little bit of a place for hanging out where we don't want people hanging out. And we do have actually businesses underneath the street. You may not know that, but there's actually some accounting consultants that have a place under there. There's businesses there. So he is asking the Redevelopment Commission to fund call it a poke through. I don't know what else to call it, a trail extension, a spur, whatever you want to call it, to connect Westcott Park directly to Taylor Street. And it would be asphalt at this time. It would be built as a trail, and it would also clean up that area in between the abutment and there's some actually fence removal that will be happening there too. And honestly, they will be cleaning up the trees. They will be cleaning up the dump that's there right now. There's a lot of just things that we don't want to see there, and hopefully it will prevent people from hanging out there, and more or less, hopefully it will. With more traffic, it will become an undesirable place for hanging out, if you will. So right now it's become an attractive nuisance.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the council? From the commission?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, so for this trail, for this extension, is it just an extension to where, is it a part of something else to where, and I'm asking this to say,
No, good question.
can we sort of like name that trail Westcott Way?
You can name it
Westcott
what
Trail?
Miss Tillman, you may name it whatever if you would like to name it. Yeah, absolutely, you can name it. It actually was part of the original Singing Sands Trail. So the Singing Sands Trail was originally supposed to come up north and then come down 2nd Street, which was abandoned or vacated. I'm sorry, not abandoned, vacated through Radke property across Spring Street, Taylor Street, and then come under. At that time, it would have added another $1 million to buy that piece of property back because we vacated 2nd Street right there in front of Galveston's, reorganize that bottleneck and utilities, etc., all those things. It was very expensive. So they actually nixed that piece of it, and that's actually why the trail comes down and goes across 12 here. But honestly, I think it's a much better connection to go under, and this would actually provide that connection. And I think you could name it whatever. Yeah, I think that's a great name. But it will actually connect to the original trailhead in Westcott Park. People don't know this. There's a circle in the back of it. That's actually, those circles delineate connections where connections were supposed to be made to the trail.
Okay.
Similar to Lake Ave lift station that we're building right now, that will actually have a trail on top of it, and it will connect to the circle that is on the other side of Peanut Bridge, and that was called the Peanut Spur. This one doesn't have a name though, so you can name it whatever you like.
Can I make a motion?
Can I make a comment first though? Because I can't make a motion.
Okay.
I would like to see, but I'm not saying it has to. I would like to see a owner change order contingency added to it of 10%, which would be an additional 5, just in case there's an unforeseen that we don't have to come back and vote on it, and it gives the flexibility in case that does come about.
They put a 15%.
Oh, I saw that. But that's for them
Oh, okay, I
at
got
their
you.
discretion
Got you. I understand.
as a contractor. And this would be something we control in case,
I got you.
yeah, we found something weird.
100%. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Feel comfortable? You don't have to if you don't.
No, that's fine. As long as we can also include the name.
Yes, I was gonna ask that too.
Okay. So the motion would be, because I didn't hear the part as far as the
So it'd
extra
be-
5%.
It'd be extra 5K
Okay.
for commission as owner for change order for any unforeseen conditions.
Okay.
And then also the name of
Okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for the trail extension of Westcott Park to add an extra 5,000 for the commission as ordered for unforeseen, what was it? Conditions. And also to name the trailway as Westcott Way. That would have to go through the Board of Works. I'm sorry, that was a comment from the mayor.
with a suggestion of name
A suggestion to name it Westcott's Way
to the board.
to the Board of Works. Thank you.
I like.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll do a roll call.
Just wait,
Oh,
one quick
whoops.
comment, just be sure that the motion is for, in addition to everything else, but the total dollar amount is $25,700. Is that what you're saying?
Wait a minute.
Or is it 20,000? So I'm.
No,
confused
you
about the
must
process.
have an old one.
55.
I had them update
Oh,
everything.
okay, I didn't see, no.
I had them update like clearing of the trees, the trash. It's gonna take a dumpster, etc.
Almost 5,000 on top of the 50.
Yes.
Right,
Okay,
right.
all right.
So be
Yep.
double nickel.
Yep, all right.
Actually, I was looking at it. It's not a bad price. What I do for a living. Okay, so we're good? Okay. Roll call. Clarence?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
And I for Sheree. Okay. Moving right along. Our next item is settlement agreement and release for the property known as 742 East 8th Street.
This, as we've talked for maybe 9 years now, is when we originally started the Trail Creek cleanup, and that's when the original litigation was filed for that entire property, starting with the corner of 11th and Michigan all the way down to Trail Creek. Some other milestones that we've hit on that is the most recent one would be the trench interceptor that we put in last year. That was the final area or the final major project. So we can then get this entire property, this entire site closed out by IDEM. The status on that, and then I'll get into this motion for a second, or this settlement, is that final report has been submitted to IDEM. IDEM is once again not adhering to their own schedule as to when they have to respond to those approvals, but I think we knew that going in. Hopefully we will have a closeout of that entire site sometime between now and the rest of the year. Part of that entire, or that cleanup that occurred on that property was commenced with an environmental recovery action. Then that's what was commenced in 2016 and has brought in all the various polluters of those properties for the money available to, or for the money to make the money available to the city or to the commission for the actual cleanup costs. Milton Roy was a subsequent polluter from the Aaroncraft property. So they, by becoming a subsequent owner of the property and also contributing to the pollution of the contamination of the site, they are by law responsible for reimbursement to the city for those environmental cleanup costs. And for that reason, then they were joined in this lawsuit. I want to say that they were joined probably in 2023 or thereabouts, and we've continued to go with them since then or negotiate with them since then. This settlement, if you accept it tonight, will call for them to pay the city $627,500 to go towards reimbursement of the city's costs for the cleanup costs. And it will then release Milton Roy from the litigation. Just as an aside as to what this means, and again, to kind of piggyback on something that was said earlier, given the fact that the city has been without certain, or the commission has been without certain files and access to certain information. This is a rough number, but I believe with this $627,000 on top of all the other money that we've received before from the polluters, this now brings us to roughly $2.2 million. And if you look at the total cost for the environmental cleanup, excluding some of the emergencies that came up along the way that were not necessarily directly tied to the environmental cleanup, but rather were designed because of possible contamination from vapor intrusion into some of the homes that occurred there on the east side of Michigan Boulevard, that is right around the cost, a little bit under, but right around the cost of the entire environmental cleanup action. So, and then finally, that with this agreement or in closing the chapter on Milton Roy, if you approve this, this leaves us with one more possible polluter that we can try to attach money towards. The problem is that those owners live in another country. All their assets in this country have been hidden or exhausted or no longer available. So all of our discovery motions and the default judgment we have against them still remains active. And that is with Aaroncraft. And Aaroncraft does have an insurer, and that's who we've been dealing with, but they've had trouble contacting their client too. So we're kind of at a standstill, and I don't know if that'll ever be resolved. But certainly we want it to be, can get everything we can. But so that's a general update on where we are with the Trail Creek litigation. But the settlement in front of you is for the $627,500 in exchange toward dismissing them out of the litigation. And our recommendation or our advice is to approve that settlement.
Any questions or comments from our commission? I keep on looking at Tracy, want to say council. I keep on accidentally saying council because I look your way. No? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept settlement agreement and release for 742 East 8th Street with the reclaimed judgment of $627,500?
So move.
Support.
Okay, we'll go to roll call. Clarence?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
And an aye for Cherie. Okay, moving right along. Our next item is an update on, oh wait. Oh, yeah, okay. Is an update on the Ameriplex Drive Phase 2 project.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick update. I've been working with Haas. In talking with our city attorney, Miss Amber LePage Stallbrink, we have concluded that rather than us bidding out the Ameriplex Drive, the issue is, let me back up. The issue here is that we actually dedicated the whole entire piece of land to the city. It actually doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the city proper for Ameriplex Drive. So the proper way for us to do this is to have Haas, which we've already contracted with, have them work with Miss LePage to put out the bid document through the Board of Works. We would then become a partner and a financier to that. Obviously, we've done this before. It's nothing out of the usual. But it would be put out and bid out competitively, and it would be bid out through the Board of Works process. And am I missing anything there, Alan? Is that the simple piece of it?
The thing, we kind of covered this last month, but the reason why Haas and Associates doing is they did the original design on the first part of this Ameriplex Drive project. where we have the flex building in there now. And this is basically an extension. Holiday's going to come in and build a second building. And, but to build a second building, there needs to be a road to get to the second building. So since Haas and Associates already did it the first time, we just need to update those plans.
Yeah, and one of the other pieces they're going to do is they're actually going to hand it off to Tim Warner to make sure he gets eyes on it, because ultimately it will be accepted into the public roads and be added to our PACER rating scales, all those things. But also we went through a development review process with Aldridge, which is Holiday Properties, for the Ameriplex Phase 2, and that's the new building called the Aldridge building. There are a couple little tweaks that he wants made to make sure that the road, and he wants to make sure the road is actually designed in that way to make sure that it fits the needs of the new building that's coming in there. And also, just a reminder to the public and everyone else, we were contractually obligated to build this road as part of the next expansion at a time when they decided to do the second phase. They're ready to do that right now. So they've approached us and said, we need the road built. So.
And it probably goes without saying, I think the reason why we need to go to the second part is because the first part was so
It's
successful.
Yep.
Did exactly what it's supposed to do and then some. So.
Yep.
It's all good news.
Yes.
Okay. Our next item on the agenda is the resolution 10-25, supporting sale of city-owned parcels to MCRC.
Yes, I've been working with the city, Ms. Stallbrink, the mayor, Mr. Brett Kelly, numerous departments. When I think when Mayor first took over, we did a kind of an analysis of, we had people mowing lots of different things, and we did an analysis to say, we don't even really know what we own. What do we own? Some of these parcels came out that we didn't even know we owned. And in doing that, some of these parcels that we actually do own that we maybe didn't know we owned or even know who owned them, or are actually in our TIFs. In the specifically in the Michigan Boulevard expansion area, and honestly, we get asked about them a lot, or they were city owned, and honestly, the Redevelopment Commission is in a position to maintain them, and also we can dispose of them a little bit more creatively to make sure that whatever goes back there is in conformance with what we would like to see on the boulevard, or making sure that they're actually invested in properly and that we get tax returns on those. We put them back onto the tax rolls rather than them just be sitting there and being speculated on. So what I did was I kind of strategically looked at what's in the TIF, what qualifies, how big are they, things of that nature. And we did appraisals on these properties, and you can see the list here. There isn't a lot of them, but these are really the strategic ones that are along the boulevard that the city owns. And at this time, we would like to ask the city to sell those to us. And this is a resolution that I do believe then council would pass as well to for the sale. They would reciprocate on the resolution and adopt it as well. And then we would pay the city for these pieces of parcel that would be coming into our coffers, our ownership. We'll make sure they get transferred in our deeded in care of the Redevelopment Commission, so there's no confusion, and we will continue to take care of them. And then it allows us to actually work with maybe some smaller developers to do some projects out on at these locations. I don't know, what else do I need to do with this, Alan? Do I need to read them off, or just give kind of a total number here? Yeah, so the total amount that we'd be looking at from the purchase of this would be $244,000 to get all 6 of these parcels. The majority of these parcels are either multifamily, or they are straight commercial properties. So they actually do fit into our bailiwick of what we kind of deal with on a daily basis with respect to redevelopment.
Please approach, Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to get up earlier, but Couple of things. Because I want you to speak on this because this will probably come up even with the next one of the items that's future. But we've been approached by folks that talk about affordable housing and wanting us to give them property and what the process is, and we should, get this property like the EDC. And I'm like, there's a big difference in development versus giving individual groups parcels of land for where we don't have control over what goes there. So I want to make sure that maybe you can share that because one of the things that I think was falsely stated in several places was in reference to SOLA and the protections that we put in place so that we don't have another fifth and sixth in pine situation where we're out of millions of dollars and litigation and time and effort when we do these projects. When we have individuals that come to us that want to do certain types of projects and say, well, the city can just give us the land, that we don't want that in our TIF districts. We don't want in these areas where we're trying to be very intentional about how we develop. They can go to the tax sale. They can do some of those things. But what we will encourage is to do things like what Homeward Bound did and what Habitat does. And then they come to the city and ask for support after they've done their due diligence, not for us just to give property away. The property that they were referring to was Sola, I know. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because that's not exactly how this works. So again, this is just one step of the process and getting this over to the Redevelopment Commission so that we can look for further opportunities along the Michigan Boulevard corridor. But I want to make sure that you kind of entangle some of that, clearing that up.
Yeah, no, that was very well spoken.
Thank you.
Our flexibility is much broader than the redevelopment's flexibility is much broader than city disposal of property. Absolutely.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
Alan, what is the official action that we should take? Just adopt the resolution?
The statute says a couple of different things. There are difference when you have sale or conveyance of properties from a public entity like the commission or the city council to a private entity. When you have it's not even a sale at that, technically I guess it is a sale, but when you have a conveyance from one municipality to another municipality, we do an appraisal, so we have a ballpark figure of what that property is worth. And then the two sides, the two municipalities can agree on what that purchase price should be. In this particular case, the city and the commission have agreed on the appraised value for those 6 different properties. What the other statute also requires that each body pass similarly worded or similarly stated resolutions. So I've worked with Attorney LePage Stallbrink to craft a resolution that is similar to the same resolution that we put before the city council. So other than a few different words here and a few different words there, the resolution that you need to pass on this, saying that you're going to do this, will then be almost identical to the resolution that the council will pass, saying that they want to do it as well. And then once that happens, then we're good. So yes, you need to pass it's a long way of saying, yes, you need to pass the resolution.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to pass the resolution 10-25 supporting sale of city-owned parcels to MCRC in the amount of $244,000?
Before I make my motion, I just want to say again, Michigan Boulevard, 5th Ward, I am totally in support of this. And again, this is putting those properties or those parcels back on the tax roll. I would like to make a motion to accept the resolution 10-25 supporting sales of city-owned parcels to MCRC.
Second.
Okay, I'll do the roll call. Clarence?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
And an aye for Cherie. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Next item is the resolution 11-25, authorizing signatory for RIF loan program.
So what this is it's very simple, but it actually requires us to pass an official resolution. This is in respect to the RIF you heard tonight. We talked a little bit about that. Andy talked about it. I talked about it. It's been added to our financials. The residential infrastructure fund is what RIF stands for. We received one of the first ones in the state. We're actually doing it right. It's actually being constructed right now. You can see it over off of 12. It's called the Lake Ave Lift Station, Relief Station. But what I need to do is I have Mary Lynn Wall, who is our city controller, added to. She's the only signature to when I submit a pay app. And in order for me to add someone to it, I have to pass a resolution because we are actually the ones paying for the RIF loan. It's part of our it's in our account to pay for this. So I'd like to add Miss Tamiko Smith. She's the deputy controller, and honestly, what it does is it helps me. If Marilyn, she's entitled to go on vacation from time to time, so Tamiko would be the backup if a pay app comes in and I can't get to Marilyn. It allows Tamiko to sign in her stead, and after this is approved, I would then pass it along to the IFA, Indiana Finance Authority, and that would officially make her able to sign the pay apps that I submit.
And then
It's that simple.
yeah, and that's very respectful of our contractors that work for us too.
Yeah, I'd really like to get them paid. I've been working really hard to get all the information that IFA needed. I think we finally have it all into them so we can actually submit the pay apps. And we've actually started that process already. And we've already spent somewhere in the ballpark of $700,000 there. So you can actually see it being constructed right now if you drive out there.
Do I have a motion to accept resolution 11-25, authorizing signatory for the RIF loan program?
So move.
Support.
Okay, we'll go to roll call. Clarence,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
and Shree's and I. Okay, our next item is update on SOLA.
Yes, I would like to just say that they are still moving forward on securing their financing. They are very much aware that their deadline is December 19th of this year. They are working diligently to get their financials in order and get their capital stack in order, things of that nature, to bring to us and basically start the process of development. As you saw in our presentation tonight, we have already given them tools. We've given them provided the EID, which that was through the council. We have also provided the TIF district, which was talked about in our presentation tonight. So the two tools that they asked for are in place. Really, it's up to them to go and secure their financing at this time. The other thing I'd like to just maybe touch a little bit on is just what Mayor was speaking about earlier. She spoke a little bit about the transfer of land. There is no smoke and mirror with that. It simply is a protection mechanism for the city, rather than transferring land to a developer and then having them use that land as collateral to the bank, and then not proceeding with the project or failing in the project later on. What that would do is tie up the land, and we would probably be fighting for many years to get that land back, and we would be sitting on a vacant lot. So rather than doing that, we actually transferred significant ownership of the two largest parcels to our partners, who have been partners with the city for 30 years, I do believe. And we have a good working relationship with them. That would be the Michigan City Economic Development Corporation. We've worked with them on numerous projects to do things like this in partnership. And honestly, what this does is it affords the city, it actually offers a protection mechanism to the city. it offers a protection mechanism to the redevelopment commission because we don't want to tie up the land and then not be able to get the land back. It should they not come through with their financing, things of that nature. There's a contingency in the agreements that at a time when they get their financing in place, they will transfer land as we will transfer our pieces of land. Should they not get their financing in place, they will transfer the land back to the redevelopment commission. So that's the truth.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next item, update for the 11th Street Station Garage and Residential Tower update.
Yeah, I don't really have an update for this. I know there was some styrofoam blowing over over the weekend. We apologize for that. But I do know that's being taken care of. We have, I do believe, our sanitary districts on that, as well as our building commissioner and building superintendent had a meeting with them today. I don't know what the outcome of that was because I haven't spoke back to them, but I do know that they had a meeting with them today about what was going on down there. So I'm sure that we'll come to a solution of what the future looks like when they're dealing with that EFS that they're dealing with. So, and that's what it is. It's just the residual from cutting the EFS. It looked like I thought it was snowing. Yeah, it did look like an early snow, but it was not. So we're dealing with that, and we have two departments working with that right now.
Okay. And any other comments?
I don't have anything else on that. We're still moving forward. I do think their intention is to open up the southern tower, as they're calling it, which would be the tower to the six-story tower that faces south on 11th Street. I do believe they will be opening that up, and their goal is to open that up in March of 2026. So early spring, you can be looking for opportunities for rents in that portion of the Franklin.
Only if you know this, because as I was driving, I was thinking they had one more level to go, but I was driving, so I couldn't count. So what I'm seeing as the last level to the stairwell is probably a penthouse access to the roof from the stairwells.
I do believe there's a rooftop access to this, and I think there's an amenity that goes on the roof. I can't remember. I haven't looked at the drawings in a while, but I do believe there's an amenity that goes up there. So I'm sure they may be at height right now with, and then the chutes are sticking up to allow that access.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Yes.
You drive down
so.
Franklin. Okay, report from our legal counsel tonight.
The only thing else to add to what I've said before is that there was an executive session before this meeting. No items were discussed or not permitted by the open door law, and there were no decisions made.
Okay. Report from our director.
I don't have any items. I think I've spoken enough tonight, so I'm just going to be quiet.
Okay, next. Any commissioner comments?
Two comments. 2 weeks ago, we had a Developer Day event in Michigan City. We had over 30 people showed up, both regional, Chicago, Indianapolis, Michigan, and local developers and investors. We took about 30 on a bus tour of projects in the city. Very surprising, we have almost about 20 projects in the city, either permitted or under construction. So great tour, great partnership with the city, the commission, the chamber to make this happen. After the tour, we had a meeting or a reception with the mayor and Vita Del Lago, went very well. And so from that tour, we've had about a dozen follow-ups of people who want to come back and look at potential projects, both multifamily, residential, commercial, and also industrial. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. The following week, last week, we had a breakfast where we unveil the market studies for both residential citywide and also commercial, industrial. And as you may have seen in the newspaper, we can handle at least 3,000 units of new housing construction over the next 5 years, which is great to hear. Also, we've had huge demand for commercial and industrial, especially in the southern corridor. So lots of activity in the marketplace. Business cities are being looked at from different investors, not only within the Midwest, but also New York and the South. We've gotten calls from people who want to know what's going on in Michigan City. So great place to be, and we'll keep marketing, and eventually they'll come in front of your door and the city council. But we're behind the scenes trying to get the word out about what a great place this place is to live, work, play, and invest. So
Nice slogan. Comments from any other commissioners? Okay. As noted on our agenda, our next meeting is dated for November 10th, 2025. However, we are going to have a interim meeting for some business that needs to be handled.
Yes, I will make sure that we put out a poll for everyone. And like I said, we still have a few things to kind of iron out with the agreement.
Okay. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, and everyone have a great night.